Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Robbie B, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher, Mike Haspil, and Wyatt Turk from Jacket Close Me. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, good to be here.
Hello, everyone.
The legendary return of Mike Haspil.
There and back again.
Yep.
A Haspil's tale.
We talked a lot about his journeys in the after hours and in the webcast. So if you want to get caught up with what's new in the Haspil FAQ,
Buy us booze. I mean, sign up for Be a Veteran of the Long War.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But it's great to have you back, Mike. Are you super stoked on Sisters?
I am crazy stoked on Sisters. It's really, really good.
Haspil raised his voice earlier. That's good.
Yeah.
I wish Grey Knights got the Sisters treatment. Let me put it that way.
Don't worry, they'll get a psychic awakening too.
They will.
I don't think they will.
You'll all get your chance.
They're dead to me now. It was a good army once upon a time. That's like, we were talking about boomers earlier. That's my boomer thing is Grey Knights. Was back in my day, Grey Knights used to dominate.
But actually, when you started this game, they were like terrible, remember?
They were awful.
So bad.
They weren't even called Grey Knights. They're called Demon Hunters.
They were the worst. And you used to play them and get your ass kicked, and you were happy.
And I'm right back to where it started. So it's full circle. So it's all good.
There was this one time when they were the powerhouse, and now you've been on your apology tour ever since.
Yeah.
Makes
Pretty
sense.
much. Yeah.
A lot's happened. We took Thanksgiving off. And
Everybody
almost feels like we shouldn't have because, like, at that time, Chaos had just dropped some nuggies, and then so much more understanding of how powerful they are has come to fruition, which we will cover a little bit today, but we realized today, the last second, we hadn't actually reviewed any of the stratagems or anything for Sisters.
Yeah. And I just want to plug your tactics class for you because I actually had a little bit of time today and I popped in there and you're like John Madden up in that bitch. Like you got like drawing schematics and like telling people how to play armies and like straight up like take fielding questions or like straight up like football coach. Like, it was pretty impressive the way you were doing it. And I was like, yo, what do you think about this? I was like, oh, shit, this is for real.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, in my opinion, the minimum effort required to call what you do a tactics discussion.
And it's even better when I'm in there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, your logo was there.
You were not there today, so I was flying solo.
No, I haven't had the full
the 2 men, 1 screen experience.
Yeah, the wheels and the leg man.
Oh man, I'll have to maybe I'll get a chance to view that one. But I was
but that's why we call them discussions too. As you can see, it's like there's a lot of learning both ways, and the discussions are very, very helpful to me specifically. I feel like my game has elevated just talking with people and going over things and fielding questions and then finding out I'm wrong about something. I got to go back to the drawing board. Like today, we discovered something. Shout out to Ender, one of our longtime friends, old school friends, because I wrote the list. I was like, hey, isn't it crazy? Chapter Proof gave me exact enough points I needed to get my Thunderhammer in there and my 10 Warp Talons. And then I'm like, oh, wait, the Thunderhammer went up in points. Shit.
Yeah, it was 40.
And then I was like, well, I got to stick with it. So I got to 9 Warp Talons because Wyatt already made me these 2 legendary lords, one with a hammer, one with a fist. And then I looked at Ender's list and I was like, this list sucks, Ender. I'm sorry to tell you. He's like, yeah, it does. I was like, wait, but you're doing a jump sorcerer and a lord. I fucking like that. It's more toolbox. The guy with the power maul is now a fucking sorcerer with a fucking force stave. That's how we're doing it. And I'm like, so just that one thing, him showing me his list and me looking at it, I'm like, you know what? Here's what's wrong with your list, but here's what I like about your list to the point where I'm doing that now. So like that, like I don't get that interaction just in my own brain. So like it's been dope, and I appreciate you stopping by there, Rob. But let's
usually I'm working.
Usually you are, and sometimes you're like, hey, when are you guys starting? I'm like,
and I always think it's an hour later than it, and because sometimes I've been like, all right, when's it happening? And you're like, yeah, it just finished. And I was like,
yeah. And that's how me and Wyatt always look like rock stars, because we actually do a whole hour of figuring out what's up in that show. And then we're in the pregame show, and then finally here. So like we've actually rehearsed this 3 times, or we're in our 3rd rehearsal. So that's usually an advantage. But let's now that we have Haspil back, we have a tradition. Wyatt.
Yep. Would you rather every time you have to take a shit, bag it up and take it to dispose of it at a Starbucks, or the only way you're allowed to clean yourself is by jumping into a public pool, no soap?
This one's easy.
Oh, okay. Now public pool. So we got questions. We got to understand this thing. How does the G define a public pool?
Oh, 51% urine.
No. I'm not talking about chemical composition. All pools are 51% urine. I'm talking about like access wise, like more than one private person has access to it. It's community based, or is it literally like,
so like the pool at your apartment complex that literally anybody can get in? Yeah, that one.
Okay,
That's
you
public
understand
pool.
where I was going with it. So I do have access to a somewhat private, though technicality, public pool. Because none of the old people here use the pool, just me and Bonet. I needed to understand that first going in.
Yeah, but let's say you're at LVO, and that's like a 3-day event. You need to take a shower. Like you're gonna have to go down to the Bally's hotel pool and jump in that bitch.
All right, now when it comes to waste disposal, and I like this one's about poop. We don't talk about poop enough anymore.
Never.
So when I have to bag up my turds, my steak nuggets, and drop them off at Starbucks, is there a timer ticking? Like I drop the nug into the Ziploc, wipe. Do I have a timer like that's compelling me? Like I have to be at a Starbucks in X amount of time, or can I save it for a later time?
No, it's the only timer is like how long do you want a bag with poop in it hanging around your house?
Got it.
Oh, that's easy.
Too easy. Starbucks turd removal is what I choose.
I can't even smell, so I'll forget to take them for a while. And then somebody will come over and be like, what's that smell? And I was like, oh, yeah.
I haven't taken out a week's worth of fucking stink nugs. Like,
yeah, but then you're like showing up to a Starbucks with like literally a garbage bag.
Yep.
Full
No,
of
you just put it in your
it's like-
bulk
backpack.
disposal. Oh, I got it. So you're saying
but like I'm just saying, like if you show up, like they're gonna be like, it's literally a giant garbage bag.
so if
full
it gets
of shit.
too much,
what are you doing
like
with that, bud?
eventually that's it. Like you just poop in your house and leave the bags in your bedroom. And if you move, you have to take the bags with you, I assume.
Nah, just get a backpack and like put them in that.
Whatever you want to do to dispose of them at a Starbucks bathroom, you can do.
Have you guys seen the cat genie?
I want to know what Haspil would choose.
Starbucks.
That was easy.
Yeah, Starbucks. Not a problem.
Have you guys seen a thing called the
Just
cat
make
genie?
friends with the manager and bribe them to drop off, your poop.
I have expected Haspil to be like, I was already doing that. So
Yeah.
Just be like, here's a hundy. Just you don't need to tell anyone about this. Garbage bag full of poop. Done.
Just like slide the envelope across the counter.
garbage bag full of poop. I just got the visual of that.
You didn't see nothing. You just slide the envelope across it.
Yeah, and then you can buy a coffee after.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or
No,
even, okay, am I allowed to poop in a Starbucks bathroom and just let it go in the toilet, or do I have to still bag it first?
Still have to bag it.
Oh, no way to game it.
Look,
You ain't never had a friend like me.
Yeah.
Horrible genie. Terrible genie.
Okay,
Itty bitty
so
living
now,
space.
last question on it for me. Disposal of said garbage bag. Like, can I jam it in the exterior trash can receptacle, or do I have to go in to the bathroom and make it fit in that receptacle?
No, you have to it's like in the bathroom.
So
You can't just be a savage and like stuff a bag of shit in like the general like lobby area trash can of a Starbucks. It's the bathroom.
Okay.
That's fair.
So I'm going to have to be kind of up on the game. Can't go more than 2 days between Starbucks trips. And if I poop at an airport, I have to travel with that.
No, there might be. There's probably a
Oh,
Starbucks.
there's
be a
probably
Starbucks
but the
in the
Starbucks don't
airport.
have bathrooms at airports. They make you use the airport bathroom.
Well, then that's a Starbucks bathroom.
Not a
Yeah, that's a
Starbucks
Starbucks bathroom
No.
then.
I know how this genie thinks. That is a
Can't
bathroom.
game it.
That is
All you need to do is get somebody from Starbucks to tell you to use the Air Force bathroom.
ooh,
Or the
that could
airport
work.
bathroom.
Yeah. Be like, do you guys have a bathroom?
The only way to know is to try. You'd have to be at the airport. That
Yeah.
scenario would have to play out because you're compelled to not be able to do it. So you'd have to be like, hey, do you have a bathroom? And if he's like, yeah, it's right there for Starbucks customers, you're like, and then now you start walking toward it and you feel like there's no magical barrier. You know the genie has allowed it. Otherwise, you're flying with a bag of shit. So basically, in one fell swoop, the genie has made all of us shit in bags and take it to Starbucks.
Maybe he got a bad coffee. He's mad at Starbucks. Could be.
I love it because Starbucks also has that especially here in like Hollywood. Like, I'm definitely have to buy a coffee every time because they do that whole like
Can't
anti-hobo
use the
lock.
bathroom. Yeah.
Oh, you have to be like a paying customer or whatever.
Unless you're like Zach for some reason, he could just walk into Starbucks. I wonder what the reason is. I've seen him do it tons of times. All right, good one. Good one. Got poop
I like
out of the
it.
way. Rob, do you have any
I got some nerd shit.
thank you.
Yeah. So Tabletop Market Watch this week, if you go into stores, there'll be those battle horses and Mephiston wiping his nose. Great model. And did you guys see that one dude that was like on one of the Facebooks where he's like, "Oh man, I'm so glad the new Mephiston isn't Primaris," and then people were like, "No one tell it."
Don't tell him.
Sad trombone.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, but coming out the week after are all sorts of new Age of Sigmar Chaos Slaves to Darkness, which there's a lot of stuff. It looks like they're double packing the Warcry warband
Double
boxes.
packing is what I'm going to be doing at Starbucks.
Oh yeah, filling that trash can. So $65 and you get 2 sprues as opposed to 50 with the cards. I feel like that's okay. There's a whole bunch of those. Corvus Cabal, Cypher Lords, Iron Golems, the Splintered Fang, the Unmade and Untamed Beasts. And then they've got the new Slaves of Darkness hardback book for 40. There's a bunch of annuals and stuff coming out. Blackstone Fortress, Warcry Tome of Champions, War Scroll cards for Slaves of Darkness. Those are $25 and $35 each. Some new terrain for Age of Sigmar, not Warcry. $75 kit, $60 kit. Looks like Shattered Plaza and Ruined Chapel. And Endless Spells for the Slaves of Darkness 2 for $35. But maybe more importantly,
The new Slaves of Darkness box, the one with all those new Chaos Knight dudes.
yeah, the start collecting is $95, and that is going to come with the new models, which don't come separately right now. So we're not really sure if they're like ETB or if they're multi-part.
Fuck, I need
But
that box so bad. I don't even play
it's-
that shit. I just need those guys.
They'll make great conversions for
God
Chaos
damn it,
Space
they're
Marines.
just the sickest looking Chaos things ever.
Yeah. I think the thing that's cool about that is it's an interesting path to market for Games Workshop, because normally they're like, okay, let's put out a starter set with like left and right side, like we saw with the Ogres and Bone Reapers. And now it's like, you know what? Let's just cut to the chase. Cut the box in half. Let's do a start collecting for just one faction. Let's see how it does. And we'll find out.
Oh, GW
Because-
found a way to just make it more convenient. Sweet.
Yeah. There's something there. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to keep an eye on it because it's kind of cool to see them trying different things. I like innovation. As it turns out, you have to innovate when it comes to business, and I like seeing it. So I'm going to keep an eye on it.
Turns out we recently discovered that you have a minor in business.
We didn't discover it. I've always had it.
And we were like, man, none of us have any business knowledge. You're like, well, I went to school. It's like, damn it. Is that why you're so good at this? All it took was a minor in business to be good
I'm mostly okay-ish.
compared to the rest of us. I was like, damn it, I need to go back to school.
We go to school every day, Kenny. We have degrees in Photoshop and social medias and customer service, email
40K.
answering, 40Ks, Photoshop. Kenny's a journeyman master at Photoshop.
I did draw a new shirt over the weekend.
Oh, dude, it looks sick.
Put my heart and soul in that one. And it took 1 billion seconds. And I know I was supposed to do an imperial design. Everyone was like, yo, custodies or this or knights or something. Then I was thinking about doing a holiday design, which I have one already.
I like that.
And then I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, because I had just asked Wyatt to make me these 2 sick conversions. And I was like, I got to do a Night Lord's Lord who looks kind of like a Warp Talon with a Power Fist. But damn, that means I got to do like the whole body and I only do heads right now. Because I'm like, wasn't ready to do like a whole bust, you know? Fuck it. 18 hours later, I did it. And that's all I did. That's why I was off the grid for 3 days on the weekend.
I forgot to change my clothes on Saturday.
I do that most days, so that's nothing.
Fair enough. Another important release this weekend on the 7th, Army Painter Wet Palette is coming out. Released, will be in stores worldwide. 24, I think it's $24.99. Definitely worth picking up. I've been using mine ever since they sent it to me. And I'm not really big on wet palettes, but theirs is pretty low maintenance, so I'm kind of okay with that. I did put some pennies in there to try to keep down the mold. But I haven't had any moldy issues, but I wouldn't know if I did because I have no smell buds. So I just was like, whatever, I'm just going to put a penny or 2 in here because I hear copper and zinc.
Is that a joke?
No, that's real.
But you can't smell?
Oh, yeah, I can't smell. I'm pretty much a medical mystery at this point.
So all it takes to have eternal youth is give up your sense of smell?
Oh, no, there's plenty more. You don't want any of this.
Oh, and also gluten intolerance. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I can't have gluten. My medical file is literally like an inch thick. And when I get a new doctor, it's just like, all right, well, here you go. Let me, where do you want to start?
How are you alive?
Nah, it's sometimes you just got to fight the good fight. And that's what we do. Forge World's got some new releases too. The Saber tank for Horse Heresy is going to be out shipping this Friday. You can get the bundle with all of the weapon variants for $135, but it doesn't have 40k rules yet. I don't know if it will because it's got Volkite and stuff on it, but it looks pretty dope. It's just Sakaran with like some different looking fixed hull mount weapons. And if you're into Titanicus, which I know at least 10 of you are, Forge World just put out the paired weapon bundle pack that actually I think started shipping last Friday and for $93 for Warlord Titans. And they look pretty dope. I kind of look forward to if they ever roll them out for the full scale Warlord Titans, because even though they'll be like $100 for the weapons, they look pretty dope. I don't know if I'd buy them, but I think about it.
You and like 5 other people would.
There's at least 10 of us. I've come to conclude.
But not all, but 100% of any market doesn't buy every release. So
it's true.
Yeah, I'll use my store credit to pick up. If I have extra store credit, I'll just pick up that up.
Yeah, there you go. You might want to get the wet palette. It's pretty dope. I like the paper. I think the paper is my favorite part out of it. But yeah, there's lots of stuff on the market coming out soon. And then, of course, lots of good deals. The Sisters box set came out over Black Friday for $210. I think it's sold out, but good value there. Battle Forces come out this week from GW. They're all pretty decent
sold out
value.
in like 4 minutes from what I heard.
What, the Sisters?
Yeah.
I think in most countries, yeah, it didn't last long. Yeah.
Yeah, it was insane.
But we know there's all going to be multi-part kits coming out in probably February-ish. But yep,
Dog, I'm stoked. I'm stoked on these Sisters, which we will cover in just a moment. Is that it for Tabletop Marketplace?
That's pretty much. There's a Kickstarter that just started actually yesterday. Rampart Part 2, the Big Ice House, is happening right now. They funded and fulfilled their plastic injection molded one from about this time last year, but now they're doing a couple of new expansion sets. Like I think there's like a Sector Mechanicus looking one, and then they've got some like plasma silos, stretch goals that look pretty dope. So I mean, it's $49 for the core set. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, okay. For the amount of stuff you get in there is just kind of silly, to be honest. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, there's a few others. I think Tomb Guardians is going to do a Christmas Kickstarter.
Oh, really?
For their monsters, so they can get a bunch of monsters in their line. They do a bunch of D&D style pewters.
Oh.
They just had a Kickstarter for their Amazon, so.
Oh, them. Okay, I got you. Yeah,
so,
those Amazons look tight.
So, like, I like them because they're just charming pewters. You know, like, I like that style. And, you know, soft spot for it. So they're going to be doing something for their monster expansion. Also, another company reached out to me, Titan Forge. And
why does that name keep sounding familiar?
Yeah, right. So I was like, damn, I know about these guys. So I went out and looked them up and found this incredible website full of just awesome 3D printed, like just sick ass minis. I was like, yeah, let's do something, you know, and they've got a pretty serious website. Just discovered these guys. So they're going to send me a few models to play with and we'll know more, but I'm pretty much sold. This 3D printing market's gotten hype.
I think they've been around for a while.
Yeah, they have for sure.
Yeah.
That's why after I saw the website, I was like, oh shit, yeah.
Oh, I've seen some of this.
Yeah,
it's good.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff, man. Like, especially this holiday season, man. Like,
oh, these were the people that did the demons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, and so they got some cool shit. So I'm with it, you know. And like, obviously, I just put out a video. Like, I put out my sort of Black Friday. These are my products I use video. Has all the sponsors I've been working with like all year in it, and just kind of like distills down. So check that out on YouTube if you guys are curious, because like over the years we've done videos like that, but I've been doing this for 10 years now. So like over the last 10 years, I've like ended up reaching out to all the companies that I like their products, and now we work together. And so I've been able to distill my list down to a pretty digestible list of, instead of like these 3 colors from this company, these 5 brushes from this company.
Your favorites.
Now I just said like, bro, paints, brushes here, bases here, grass here, washes here. So it's a pretty good list. So definitely check that out, especially if, you know, going to the holidays and you're trying to, you know, get all them hobby supplies. Like these sponsors that we work with, you know, in a trade capacity, they make it possible in a lot of ways. So definitely support them.
Yeah, we should put out I know we did for the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales, but I'm wondering if we should put out like a combined list of like just,
we should
check these people out type thing, because
that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely good to
because
support
searching for the deal sometimes is where you land on the wrong thing. You know, also you discover things.
Oh yeah, I mean, some of our most popular posts last week were the Cyber Monday and the Black Friday sales, and a couple of them were exclusive discount codes and things for the readers, which I didn't ask for. I was just like, hey, what's your sale? Tell me what your sale is, and but that was pretty cool to see. I think getting a list out there and stuff would be, because sometimes just finding stuff is tough, you know. Like there's so many different companies and so many different places. So yeah, we'll have to look at that.
That's true. It's true. Yeah. So look for that in the future. And also, we're going to say the wet palette goes on sale.
Saturday, Army Painter wet palette. You can pre-order it now on their website. Or it might just, be at your local game store then.
Yeah. Yep. And I have a review video going live, I think on the 15th or something. They told me. So like you get to be able to see the real deal. It's a really affordable product and it's really well crafted. You know, so my video speaks the truths of what I like and don't like about it. So that'll be coming out soon. Let's go into chapter approved nuggets, warm tendies by Wyatt. Wyatt's going to look at a Spiky Bits article and say it goodly. Those things you just got to go through all this clickbait just to find the content. So
yeah,
it's true.
So out the gate, Space Marines didn't really get much of any points adjustments. So we're kind of in a holding pattern, seeing what they're going to do with that. Chaos Knights got some small points decreases. Specifically, the War Dog is now like 145 points. Pretty nice. Demons, big thing to take away from that is Demon Princes went down. And then they had some points decreases kind of across the board. And some of the big demons went down big time. So like the Wrath of Khorne Bloodthirster is down 30 points. Keeper of Secrets down 30. Shalaxi Hellbane down 40. Lord of Change down 20. So that's pretty good for them. Chaos Undivided, again, very small points decreases across the board. One of the bigger ones, Dark Apostles went down by 28 points. And Obliterators went down 20 points. So like Obliterators got a huge buff.
Yeah, that's a big one for Chaos peoples out there, because that's more remember, the 110 was just too much.
Yeah.
95 makes sense.
Let's see. Death Guard, again, there's a pattern here. Lots of small points decreases, but Typhus went down 20 points. It's pretty big. And they share some points decreases with other stuff. So like Land Raiders and Terminators, things like that went down a little bit. Very small decreases for Gene Stealer Cult.
Wasn't there a bad GSC like point push that people have been talking about? I'm not caught up on GSC, but I've read on the interwebs that there is something that happened to them that really fucked them.
There is not anything here that says points increases.
I'll call upon the chat to. This is one of those times during the podcast. Chat, what happened? Because I've seen a lot of sadness.
So Eldar Craft World's got a bit of points decreases. Biggest one out of that is the Wraith Knight went down 45 points, which is pretty big because Wraith Knights have been over points costed for most of this edition. And their flyers actually increased in points across the board. Not much to talk about with Tyranids.
Aberrants, I think, are the ones that went up big time.
For Gene Stealer Cult.
Calamorphs and Aberrants increase.
Gotcha.
Sorry, we're still in the phase where we look at only the stuff that affects us directly. And then everything else we piece together from our friends who are also doing that. And so,
we're playing the telephone stage.
Yeah.
Necron's got some points decreases across the board. That's pretty good for them. Except for their troops. Their troops probably needed some points decreases, but they didn't get any changes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sadness.
Poor Haspil.
Tau, lots of points decreases. Lots of stuff remaining unchanged.
Did they ever?
Seems like everything is like very like nickel and dimey, like very small points decreases, if any.
Just some minor adjustments.
Yeah.
There were some big ones though for Chaos. I mean, Chaos got some huge ones. Like the Possessed Warp Talons went down to 19 points a model.
Mm-hmm.
They finally made our Marines cheaper. Dark Apostle finally is in line with a Chaplain point cost, just about. Sorcerer went down in points. They definitely. Helldrake went down to 140 with his Flamer. About fucking time.
Demon Prince went down, but not that that's super relevant.
I know for Chaos Marines, because like obviously Chaos Marines specifically have been something people talk about like crazy, right? And like, fuck, well, you got to play with this or that, and you can't really play the Marines. The Psychic Awakening stuff plus this. Cultists went back to 4, so they readjusted Cultists. Like, legit opened up like 100 points in most lists I was playing.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Obliterators went down.
Yeah.
Venom Crawler. Playbearers went up.
Like, if you look at the Chaos spreadsheet, it's like it's just a shitload of things that like went down 20%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the T-Sun's DP went up, though. Because of the dual psychic powers.
Yeah. Let's see. So Orcs actually got some interesting points changes. So what have we said about these buggies since the beginning?
They're garbage and they need to be about 40 to 60 points.
Yeah. Well, we didn't get that, but they did get decreased by about 20 to 40 points per. which is pretty nice.
Oh, that's not bad for if the scrap.
They were
jet,
at like 160, weren't they?
scrap jet was like
Yeah.
120, I think. And so if that thing is sub 100, I play it again.
It went down 18 points. Yeah. But knocking 20 points there, 20 points here, 40 points there. Like that's pretty solid for them. Space Wolves, a lot of character decreases, pretty hefty. Like 30, 35, 25. What's some of their biggest ones? So Ragnar Blackbane went down 41 points. That's a pretty big gun.
Oh shit.
Logan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Again, lots of nickel and dime stuff. No real like huge ones. Let's see, Dark Angels. Kind of the same thing. Like a lot of their characters went down, just like the Space Wolves. And then lots of nickel and diming. The land speeders that they like went down quite a bit.
The land speeders are starting to crop up more and more in Marine lists.
I just don't remember what the Dark Angels one is called.
Dark Shroud?
The Dark Shroud, the specific one?
Yes, something like that.
And then there's Dark Talon and
There's the one
those
that
went
shoots
down.
and the one that protects.
Yeah. Let's see. Baneblade chassis went down by like 40 points for Imperial Guard. Other than that, no real big ones, just very like small like 10s, 5s, that kind of thing, down points. Admech didn't really get any points decreases, like no big ones. Seems like the pattern is a lot of nickel and diming. The Castellan, however, went down 50 points.
Readjust.
And then, the Gallant went up 20 points.
So it's what it's like 170 something now? Is that right? Was it 149? 169?
What are we talking about?
The Gallant, the Night Gallant?
No,
The
it was
one
like
with
the
just
300s.
It's like 300 points, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's what sorry. I meant 329.
I'm like, no, we're not talking about the same unit.
It was cheaper.
Let's see. Just gonna if I don't see anything that's more than like a 20 point decrease, I'm just gonna skip over it. Blood Angels, lots of character decreases. Dante down 25, Seth down 25, Sanguinar down 50, big time. And then everything else is fairly small. And then they got like a Terminator Ancient that's down 21 points.
How many of these are legend?
Bikes all got legend.
Yeah, I don't
War
think any of
buggies.
this stuff.
War buggies in general got, and War Tracks and Scorches got legend.
Yeah, so which is funny because that's another thing that happened is legends.
Yep.
So they did a classy version of banning indexes from match.
It's kind of a soft ban. Like you can still play with it.
Yeah. And actually,
But-
it's classy because in banning indexes was really a lazy just here. Let's just fuck it. They picked out the units that they're not going to keep making models for. They're not going to keep making rules for, and they put them on a new thing. There's a link. You can find it on the Warhammer community page. It'll take you to a PDF download. You can see all the units. It's not the end of the world. It's literally things we knew were going away anyway, and they are mostly index units. Things that we were exploiting for gain, for points, savings, which you don't need to do anymore because mostly we got all these point reductions. So it doesn't really affect 99% of stats.
I could see where some of the Orc players might be upset with the Big Mac or potentially the Eldar Bone Singer because they just brought that out like 2 years ago where you could buy it again. But I mean, for the most part, it's stuff that we kind of expected.
We've been
Yeah,
expecting
what it
for a
does
long
do is let you use that odd model that you have in a game.
Yeah.
It's not just a display piece anymore. You could actually still play with it.
GW is not going to continue to write rules for models they don't make. That's just insane if you think about it.
But I think the big takeaway from it might be the fact that they said, hey, we're never going to make rules for these again, but here they are. They live here forever. You can always use these. They're not tournament legal, match play, whatever you want to call it. Frontline Gaming said, hey, yeah, this isn't a thing. Okay, cool. For ITC, got it. But I think the big takeaway here is that this is 8th edition rule set. This is something that they said will still be around for people to use. So therefore, if we do get a refresher or our 8th edition pillows fluffed with a new rule book that's a little bit tighter and has everything all kind of in one place, which is the kind of the rumor for this summer, then we know that it's not going to be a drastic change because they just rebooted, all these codexes 3 years ago. They're just 2.0ing some of them now. We're getting the Psychic Awakening. There's going to be reasons to actually come out with 2.0 versions of books to have all this content in them now. So they're still going to provide value.
Yeah, and like this legend stuff, like most people were just dipping into Index for an exploit. We're past that now. We don't need it anymore. Like we're in a new phase of the game, and we're getting spicy ass rules. Everything's becoming OP and super strong, like this game. And then eventually, once it's too bloated, it'll be a reset. But there's no reason, like as Rob said, they're not. I mean, we're probably never fully going to migrate off of 8th edition.
They'll literally make more money in sales redoing the Codex books, redoing these campaign books like they did with Vigilus, like they're doing with Psychic Awakening. Like they will leave money on the table if they redo the rules. Trust me.
Yeah, and I do trust you. And as I was saying with Chapter Approved, we're still in the telephone game stage. Like there's going to be many, many more minutes of dissecting that. Just know that the information is available to you. It's been flying around the internet. The book is coming out. Everyone is looking at it, trying to figure out how they're affected moving forward. And then eventually we're all going to come together and understand all the changes. For Chaos, which will be my final segue into Chaos, Chaos has had some exciting stuff happen. We got these new legions. We talked about them on the last show, which was 2 weeks ago because we took time off. And with these new point adjustments combined with some of the new rules, Chaos Space Marines are totally fucking playable again. And I'm only going to cover 2 updated Tendies, 2 Warm Nugs. Alpha Legion, I think, is the strongest Chaos Legion there is. Alpha Legion can rock brigades, they can rock battalions, they can do whatever they want. With Conceal, specifically, that new stratagem that allows the units to be hidden, they can do a lot, especially when paired with a demon battalion with Nurglings to infiltrate to keep their units safe. 2 ways I see it go down after talking with my man TJ Lanigan is crazy 20-man possessed squad concealing itself, running across the table, sharing demonic Lokis with your demon battalion, remaining untargetable, potentially being Nurgle and going up to -3 to target with Alpha Legion stacking with the Dark Apostle stacking with Mysmia. So when you go up against people who could shut down your stratagem, still -3 to hit. With Slanesh, you can do the Loki and be advancing, charging, warp timing. Or you could just go with Devastation. That's all with demonic ritualist specialist attachments. Or you've seen a lot of people talking about Obliterators. Concealing Obliterators, Devastation battery with them. There's a lot going on with Alpha Legion. And there's a predominant like shooting version and assaulting version of the same brigades, which have gotten really cheap. Now I'll talk about Night Lords real quick. Night Lords is back. I think everyone loves Night Lords. Historically, they're amazing. We talked about it on the last time when we were looking at it 2 weeks ago. They are the ultimate toolbox for Chaos. A simple battalion with 10 Warp Talons will get you through some fights. I'm actually shifting my list for LVO, where I'm changing my battalion to Night Lords to have 10 Warp Talons. 2 characters drop in, Raptorial Host, some Cultists, and double Drakes. Because Hell Drakes can use Voxcaster, which turns off auras. Warp Talons absorb Overwatch. They can spread out, charge mad things, +2 to charge, 3d6 assault. You can basically charge an entire Tau army 1 CP. You can't, and lock them, keep them from falling back, as long as they're not vehicles. So, to all my Chaos friends out there, it is about to get real. Buy yourself some Warp Talons. Buy yourself some Obliterators. Buy yourself some Possessed. These are units historically that we've always wanted to play. And 2 of those units have just been unplayable. Chapter Approved plus the new rules. It is a good time. And you actually are finally now going to see actual Chaos Space Marine armies return to the table. Not just these cultists and this demon and this Lord Discordant, you know? So it's that's an update to the recap of our Chaos Tendies from last week. Let's jump into the meat potatoes. This has been such a huge content week. Sisters of Battle, Sister Act 2, Space Waifus, a review by Mike Haspil.
Yes. So we've already been going a while. We could easily go another like 2 hours to cover everything in this book, but that is not necessary. This is a really good codex. I don't think it's a meta tipper. I don't think it's something that's like, oh, it's going to shatter the meta. It's not. And let me caveat that. First of all, I need a couple caveats. One, I'm drunk as hell right now. Check. Two, I haven't played 40K in about a year. I got 2 games in last week, which was great, but I did not play with sisters. So I'm a little bit rusty on the rules, so you have to double check what I say. Third, when I speak about some of the things on the sisters, my brain automatically goes to monofaction. So I'm just going to drop this caveat right here. Sisters are incredible in Soup. They're awesome. In fact, I don't think I would be too far off to say they're going to be a mandatory include in Imperial Soup lists, because they're that sick. So having said that, we're gonna gloss over the tops of the codex and just hit the highlights, right? The biggest change that we have are to the Acts of Faith, and this system for the Acts of Faith is incredible. However, I think it is open to easy abuse. I hope that GW and their playtesters went through and figured out what, I hope they saw what I'm seeing, because there's a mechanic called Miracle Dice, and that's how everybody does Acts of Faith now. There aren't separate Acts of Faith that you got to keep track of and everything. And in the past, Acts of Faith were almost like the sisters' psychic powers. Now they have these things called Miracle Dice. And what the Miracle Dice is you get one at the top of the turn and you roll it, right? And whatever that value is of the dice, that's the value of the Miracle Dice. You can then substitute that dice whenever you're looking for an advance roll, a charge roll, deny the witch test, hit roll, wound roll, saving throw, damage roll, or a morale test. So at the beginning of the turn, you get a Miracle Dice, you roll it, comes up a 1. Oh, that's bad, right? No, it might not be. Because you might want to hold that in check. So when you have to take that morale test, you swap out the dice that you would have rolled for the morale test for a Miracle Dice using your Act of Faith. And you just go, oh, looks like I rolled a 1. I passed my morale test. Awesome. Right? So how you generate these is actually pretty frequent. You get one when a unit from your army with the Acts of Faith ability destroys an enemy unit. You get one when a character unit from your army with Acts of Faith is destroyed. You get one when a psychic power is resisted from your army with the Acts of Faith ability without performing an Act of Faith to stop it. And you get one when you roll an unmodified 1 for a morale test. So that brings up a mechanic, right? Somebody shoots at your battle sisters, you lose 1 sister. You technically have to take a morale test. Most of the time, we don't in that situation because we go, there's no way we could fail. So we're just not going to take it. We auto pass the morale test. Sisters players should always take morale tests now because you could roll a 1. And if you roll a 1, you get a Miracle Dice. So I was just playing around, just generating, I used an old sisters list I had from before, from the chapter approved codex, and just was hypothetically playing a game in my head. And I was generating about 3 to 4 Miracle Dice a turn. So that gives you just, an embarrassment of riches on what you can do with that.
What's that with any of the special war gear or anything?
No, that was just normal. Right. Wow. And there is war gear. There's special
traits,
warlord traits. And we're going to get to that in a second. So I just want to cover who the winners were. The losers in this codex are pretty much, I would say, all the Ministorum units. If you know, there's the sisters fall into the Ministorum category of Imperial armies. So it's like there are units in here that are not sisters of battle units. They are Ministorum, like Ministorum priests, Archoflagellants, and everything, stuff like that. they don't get the acts of faith. They don't get orders. They don't get all that stuff. I would say, what's that?
Miracle dice, though, from what I understand, it's you can generate one per method, right?
Per phase.
Per method, per phase.
No, I don't think it's per method, per phase. I think it's per.
Does it say each time? Like that's what I'm curious about. Like, is it like if technically I pass 5 morale checks this turn, if that ever happened, I get 5, or is it?
You get 1 at the end of the phase if 1 or more of the following conditions are met.
Yeah.
1 or more times during that phase. Oh.
So I think if this is my interpretation of it. If you rolled 5 ones for your 5 morale checks, you get 5 miracle dice.
Yeah.
Because it says 1 or more, right?
Yeah, if 1 or more times during that phase, yeah. That's what I'm seeing.
That's the way I interpret it.
But it's like a double wording. I kind of think it says 1.
Okay.
You gain 1 at the end of the phase.
One at the end of the phase.
Or the following conditions are met.
1 or more of the following conditions. Those are 3 different conditions.
So you get 1 dice. It still doesn't change.
No, it doesn't change.
Get 3 or 4.
So you generate 1 every turn anyway, right?
Yes. Yeah. So you get 1 every turn anyway, right? And then if you do any of these things, you get another one.
So like, what's going to happen?
If you have a warlord trait. What's that?
So almost no matter what happens, you're going to get 2 per turn. 1 from killing something, 1 from just generating. So you almost, because like that's just how a game of 40K goes. You're going to kill something every fucking turn. Because if you don't, you're losing the fucking game, right? So you're going to kill, generate, and then, because I always like to think of like, what's my bare bones? I'm going to kill, I'm going to generate, so that's 2. And going into your warlord traits, relics.
You get, there's another one that's a warlord trait. There's another one that is a relic.
So one is an auto-generate and one is a, are they both auto-generates?
We'll get to it. But there's at least 2 that are auto generate, and possibly 3 that are auto generate. That at the top of the turn you just get them.
Right. I'm just trying to get the whole perfect, like exactly what the number looks like.
Once we cover this, you're gonna get. If you made the choices I would make, you're gonna get 3 a turn no matter what. So it's like. That's, I mean, it's a lot. And that's why I'm like, well, it could be open to abuse. I don't know. I haven't played with this army. So I don't know if that's not enough miracle dice or if that's just enough miracle dice to keep your sisters from getting wiped. But I don't think these guys are getting wiped no matter what. They're actually really, really good. And I want to cover like who the winners and losers were. So the losers, I would say, are all the Ministorum units, right? Except the Arcoflagellants. When I first looked at them, I don't have any right now. I dumped all my old metal ones on eBay. And when I first looked at it, I was just like, man, I'm glad I got rid of those Arcoflagellants because they're kind of worthless. And then I looked at it again and went, oh no. Like they will straight destroy hordes. They are brutal. You can take up to about 10 of them, shove them in a rhino or something, drive them up to where they need to be, get out. And then when you can, assault. And you can get with a priest about 80 or 90 attacks. It's kind of ridiculous. So the Arcoflagellants are definitely good. Celestine, the Canonesses are about the same. The Canoness lost a couple of options. I think her Power Axe option went to Legends, so you can't do that anymore. The big winner for me, and granted, I'm looking at it from my point of view first, and I play Shooty Sisters. So the big winner for me was the Exorcist, which went from being kind of really powerful but very undependable, like irregular, to something that is dependable all the time. Because now you instead of rolling 1d6 and choosing and just figuring out that, oh yeah, I always rolled underperformed. Right now you roll heavy 3d6 for the shots if you take the conflagration rockets, which is insane. If you take the Exorcist missile launcher, it's 3d3. So still, it's pretty awesome. You know what I mean? It's pretty amazing. So the Exorcist now is reliable. It's reliable anti-tank. And honestly, that's where the sisters are kind of lacking, because you got to get close. You got to use meltaguns. You got to use stuff like that to take out anti-tank. But the exorcists, if you've got 3 exorcists in your list, you don't got to worry about it. They'll take care of business. The other unit that wins is, I think, the mortifiers. Now, granted, I haven't played them yet. And for folks that don't know, the mortifiers are a variant of the penitent engine. And that is one disappointment I had with the new models. And it's not a big disappointment. It's nothing to write home about, really. But the new penitent engine, I wanted these so badly because it's finally plastic. The old penitent engines were metal. And anybody who's played with them, mine were pinned, and I used JB Weld on them, and they still broke.
Rough.
So I was really looking forward to plastic ones, but the plastic one is small. It's on a 50 mil base. So I was a little disappointed by that, but I'll live. And along those same lines, the new sisters are bigger than the old sisters are. A lot of folks have been upset with that, but I'm like, the last sisters was sculpted. I don't think I'm too far off the mark if I say 20 years ago.
Yeah, probably.
It's like John Blanche era. They're very old models. So everything in the game has gotten bigger since then, including rhinos and stuff. So it just makes sense that they would scale the sisters a little bit bigger. But they are noticeably bigger when you sit them side to side with the old metal ones. It doesn't bother me. I'm still going to use my metal ones. Just go, hey, these gals are different heights. It's not a problem. The Seraphim were always really good, but now they have a stratagem where it adds range to their pistols. So now they don't have to be exactly right up on something. They could be maybe 12 inches away and hit you with a ton of melta shots or flamers if they want to. The Arco-Flagellants we've already covered. And then the other big winner are the Battle Sisters. They're your only troop choice in the army, but they are phenomenal. They're really, really good. They got this. They have a couple of different things that they can take. A couple of them, and they add up in points, unfortunately, because the actual Battle Sister is dirt cheap. If you play Horde Sisters, you can ruin somebody. They're 9 points each. I couldn't believe it when I saw that. I was just like, you could run like a billion of them.
9 points, 3 up save.
Yeah, 3 up save. That's no joke, right? And then you can marry that up with some of the orders that, like we're going to talk about that later, but the Order of the Valorous Heart, all like that Order of the Valorous Heart that we'll cover later, they ignore AP1 and AP2. So if you pair them up with that, they got a lot of staying
most
power.
people only ignore AP1.
Yeah, and let me look at it real quick, but if they have an Imagifier, they ignore AP -2.
What's an Imagifier?
It's like an added banner that they can take.
How many points is it?
Oh,
I'll tell you.
that I am not prepared to answer.
Because I'm really excited.
It's not a lot of points. Let me put it that way. Like, it's a mandatory include if you were Valorous Heart. If you're playing Valorous Heart, I
45, not including war gear. So they got a bolter and
a Valorous Heart. Is it a squad upgrade or a human?
No, that's the order.
That's the order. So it's like a chapter tactic. Let me look here.
I'm on the wavelength. I'm talking to the chat too. Like, So
Imagifier is 45 points.
They also get, with the Imaginifier, you get the litanies.
Yes.
So you can.
How big of a squad size can you take sisters in?
10, I think.
10.
10? Hard sell for me to take it. Especially after I hear the other orders. Oh, 15?
There are better
Could they be
orders
15,
out
man?
there.
People in chat say 15.
I'm looking here.
Because it's 15 on that
I'm
game.
looking. This unit contains 1 sister superior and 4 battle sisters. It can additionally contain up to 5 battle sisters or up to 10. So 15.
15, yeah.
Ooh. Okay, I'm in. Now I'm in it. Because it was a hard sell for 10, but I'll take it for 15.
Well, it gets better. So if you take a Simulacrum Imperialis, you can then do multiple Acts of Faith in the same phase. which if you have a big dice pool, because initially I was like, man, I'm going to have more miracle dice than I can use.
So right now you can generate one from any of the following methods. You can only spend one per phase too, currently.
Correct.
And the Simulacrum is the order that lets them break that rule where they can actually spend more.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why that's important.
Okay.
And then, the Battle Sisters also have this thing called a cherub. And I'm curious about this. Granted, I haven't had time to check for my models, but the cherubs seem to be pretty cheap and they allow you some rather interesting stuff.
Wait.
They basically.
Well, let me go back 1 second. Simulacrum is war gear for a squad or an order?
No, it's Simulacrum.
It's a little standard for the squad.
Okay, so a squad. Okay, I'm less involved because like you can't buy one of those for a exorcist, right?
No.
So some squads I would buy that for, yes, but okay.
It's definitely situational, but it could be
certain
really
squads
cool.
in my army are going to have a job to spend miracle dice, and those would be the units.
Right.
Word. Sorry, continue.
And I lost my place on the cherub, so I'll just gloss over it real quick. But it allows you to basically expend the cherub to do other stuff, to re-roll dice, etc.
You get to
things like that.
So you can cap them, and then you get to roll 2 dice. You get a miracle dice, but you get to roll 2 dice and pick. But they can only be used for the act of faith for that unit.
Yes. But you're not limited by how many. This is my understanding on the initial read anyway, is that you're not limited by how many cherubs you can take. I mean, within reason, you know what I mean? It's like an incensor cherub. If this unit has an incensor cherub once per battle at the beginning of a phase, that incensor cherub can intercede. And if it does, the incensor cherub is removed from play and you get 1 miracle dice. Roll 2d6 when you do so and select which one to keep. The miracle dice you gain can only be used to perform an act of faith for that unit in that phase that you use the incensor cherub. And at the end of the phase, if the dice has not been used, it is lost.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going
Unit can have an incensor cherub.
Oh, so they do limit it. I missed that.
Yep.
Sorry. Okay, so you can have one of those once per battle, but that's per unit, right?
How many points is he?
I'm looking.
So I think he's pretty cool. Let me.
And Retributors can take 2. 5 points.
He's 5.
5 points. So it is super. Somebody in the chat just goes, he thinks that cherubs are the creepiest thing in the 40K. It's pretty creepy. It's like a little, homunculus, vat grown baby that they just kind of program with a bunch of electronics and throw into battle.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, let's jump right into some of these abilities, right? So if order Adeptus Sororitas detachments gain order convictions, and if you're battle forged and all your Adeptus Sororitas detachments are of the same order, then they get this order conviction. And it's basically chapter tactics. They get this thing called Strength of Faith, which if you're battle forged, all troop units in the Adeptus Sororitas detachments get this ability. Yeah, and it's objective secure. And then they get all kinds of other stuff. The Pious and the Penitent. It's like the Pious and the Penitent are a bunch of units that if you take them, they don't count against your order conviction. And it's like characters like Celestine and stuff like that, hospitalers. They kind of don't break your stuff. So for the orders, we get the Order of Our Martyred Lady, which is kind of important because there's a character that is out here called Junith Erutia. I think I'm pronouncing that right.
The war pulpit.
Yes, and it's a new model. So she is brand new sister. She's on this like hover pulpit, like preaching. And she allows rerolls like a captain, but only if you are the Order of our Martyred
if
Lady.
it's
because she's key. She's
order
key.
order locked, like Legion locked.
Yeah. But the other ability that she does is she boosts your invul save that's provided by Acts of Faith. So all the sisters, part of the Acts of Faith thing is you get a 6-up invul save. All the units that have Acts of Faith get that. That is absolutely clutch. I don't know how many times that has saved my exorcist from getting blown up. So she can boost it to a 5-up.
Is it aura?
Yeah, it's an aura. Yeah, it's like 6 inches, I think. So that's really cool. The other thing for the Martyred Lady, the Order of a Martyred Lady, is they gain 1 miracle dice at the end of any phase in which any units with this conviction were destroyed. So if you lose any units that have active faith and Order of our Martyred Lady, you get additional miracle dice. So you can start to see how it's very easy. It's not hard to generate miracle dice. You can get them depending on what you want to do. In addition, when resolving an attack made by a model with Order to Martyred Lady, add 1 to the hit roll if 1 or more models from that model's unit have been destroyed in this battle.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so that can turn ugly real quick. It's like, oh, you killed and that's the thing. It's not in this turn
Let me ask
or
you a question.
in this battle, right?
Cherub. What's the wording on a cherub being used?
Oh, I'm sorry.
When you use a cherub, does it say is removed as a casualty? What does it say?
Let me look here.
Because that's a squad member. Physically.
My guess is it's removed from play.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, give me the wording so I could just self-buff my fucking attack.
Yeah, that would be dirty. But basically, if you only got killed, if one battle sister got killed from that unit in the entire battle, they get +1 to hit roll.
That's dope.
The rest of the battle.
So there's some powerful shit right there.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Then we talked about Valorous Heart. I'll recover it real quick. So they, when they would lose a wound on a D6, that wound is not lost. So they have a 6-up, feel no pain on top of the 6-up invul for Shield of Faith. And then, they ignore AP1. And then if they have an Imagifier with the Tail of the Stoic ability, because there's this whole thing about tails that they can invoke. And I hate to do this, but I don't understand that part well. So I'm probably not going to cover it right now because I probably will cause more confusion by covering the whole tails and everything, beforehand. So, but with the Imagifier, they can ignore AP -2. Now keep in mind, sisters are 3-up power armor, but they are also toughness 3, but they have a 3-up, 6-up. So it is a little bit kind of weird how they
3-up, 6-up, a 3-up in cover with I don't care about AP 1 or 2. It's pretty strong.
Is pretty hard. Like those girls are not going anywhere anytime soon.
It's actually really hard to interact with.
Yeah, especially if you have hospitalers in there and stuff like that. Because the hospitaler, unlike the apothecary, she doesn't have to roll to see if her ability works. It just works.
Yep.
So that's kind of epic. The Bloody Rose, when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon or a pistol weapon, they get the AP is increased by 1. So that's Order of the Bloody Rose. Ebon Chalice is when a model with this conviction would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound, roll 1d6, and on a 5-up, that wound is not lost. So 5-up, feel no pain.
No, only versus mortal wounds.
Yes, true. Which is kind of cool, though.
It is.
Because that's one thing.
Of the ones you've already stated, it's the least useful.
Yes.
It's only against mortal wounds.
But that's one thing that the sisters are hurting in, and it's traditional. They've always been hurting in this. They have no psychic stuff. Now, Shield of Faith does give you a
1
deny
dice
the witch,
deny.
but on 1 die,
Yeah, which
is super situational. Probably won't.
Almost 100% useless.
Yeah.
It can only block a 5 warp charge cast.
Yeah. So otherwise, whatever you were trying to cast was going to fail anyway. So
yeah. So it can block a smite if you roll a natural 6.
Yeah. So having that may not be completely useless, but it's not the one I would choose. Argent Shroud is when a unit with this conviction advances, it can fire ranged weapons as if it had moved without advancing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's your rush up and jump in people's faces, conviction order that you want. And then Sacred Rose is when a morale test is taken for a unit with this conviction, no more than one model can flee ever. So even if you can perform an act of faith, you can do whatever. And it's like if you perform an act of faith for a model or unit with this conviction, one roll d6 on a 5-up, you gain one more miracle dice. Right. So keep in mind that like anybody who's playing sisters, whenever you kill a sister is going to take a morale check. And now it's like if they roll a 5-up, they get a miracle dice. So they get a miracle dice on a 5-up or on a rolling of a 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty powerful as far as like just getting you,
these orders are pretty strong.
And they also hit on a 5 with Overwatch, that last order.
That's also good.
Yeah.
Hit on a 5 Overwatch and this whole combo to make me not give a shit about -2 AP are my favorite ones out of that list.
I agree.
But at the end of the day, like knowing what you're going to do with an army is hyper dependent on stratagems.
Yeah. So since I play like shooty armies, I'm leaning right now towards the Valorous Heart, which ignores AP2, but it's going to cost you. You know what I mean? If you want to ignore the AP2. Then we'll jump into stratagems. I'm not going to read them all. I'm just going to read the ones that jumped out at me. And granted, take this with a grain of salt. This is my opinion. And also I play shooty mono-faction sisters. So my view of these stratagems are tailored to that. The very first one, open the reliquaries. That's your normal standard, get an additional relic.
Uncapped.
You know what I mean?
It used to be 3 to get 2, and now it's just 1 for everyone you want.
Yeah, 1 for
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. So that's fairly good.
Super good.
And then we get one called Moment of Grace. This was the first one that I was like, whoa, what? Use this stratagem after making a hit roll or wound roll for an attack made by an Adeptus Sororitas model from your army, or after making a saving throw for an Adeptus Sororitas model from your army. Discard 1d3 miracle dice. Add or 1, 2, 3, not 1d3, 1, 2, 3 miracle dice, and add 1 to the result of the roll for each miracle dice you discarded.
Solid.
And that's 1 CP. I was just like, dang, right? So that one seems pretty good. There's one called Heroine in the Making. It's basically one of these new upgrade stratagems. You use this stratagem before the battle, 1 CP. After nominating your warlord, select 1 Adeptus Sororitas character model from your army other than your warlord Celestine, Junith Erutia, or the Triumph of Saint Catherine, and generate 1 warlord trait for it. It is regarded as your warlord for the purpose of that warlord trait. Each warlord trait in your army must be unique. If randomly generated, reroll duplicate results, and you can only use this stratagem once per battle. So that's still really good.
Yeah.
Gives you an additional warlord trait.
Yeah, those are very powerful, especially if you have buff warlord traits, which they do.
Yep. The other one on this page is Martyred. Use this stratagem at the end of any phase in which your warlord was destroyed. If your warlord is an Adeptus Sororitas model, character model, if your warlord is Celestine, perform any rolls for the model's miraculous intervention ability before using this stratagem. This stratagem may not be used if your warlord is returned to the battlefield using miraculous intervention. You gain D3 command points. If your warlord dies, basically. Yeah, because this one I call the butthurt stratagem, right? It's like Celestine got killed, and you're like, oh, let's see if she comes back. 1. Are you joking? I'm going to use a command reroll on that. 1. Damn it. Well, I'm going to use this 1 CP to at least get some CPs out of it. You know what I mean? That's the way I think that would go. At least the way I see myself using that is it's not game changing, but it helps. So we'll start with the next one. It's the Venerated Saint. Use this stratagem during deployment after you have set up an Imagifier model from your army. You can select 2 different tails for that model's Litany of Deeds ability instead of 1. And you can only use this stratagem once per battle. And these tails that these Imagifiers have, they're really cool. They're really, really powerful. I haven't wrapped my head around them, but they're pretty cool. They're very, very fluffy. I just haven't had a chance to really digest it. So I don't want to cause additional confusion by covering it. On the next page, we get the first of the 2 CP stratagems. All those were 1 CP, believe it or not. And they're very powerful. On this one, we get Storm of Retribution, 2 CP. Use this stratagem when the Retributor squad unit from your army fires Overwatch or is chosen to shoot with. Select one of the following. Until the end of the phase, when resolving an attack made with a heavy bolter by a model in the unit, add 1 to the hit roll. Until the end of the phase, when resolving an attack made by a heavy flamer by a model in that unit, you can re-roll the wound roll. Or until the end of the phase, add 12 inches to the range characteristic of multi-melta models in that unit equipped with. And when resolving an attack made with a multi-melta by that model in that unit, add 1 to the damage roll. So that seems like it's really good.
Well, I mean, that's
range multi-meltas? Yes.
I mean, that's like their power. So like there's a way to expend resource to buff the power that they have.
Yeah. And it's like the Retributors, that's what they do. Like they usually run with like 4 multi-meltas. That's not unusual to see that, kitted out that way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it could be absolutely rude.
I was expecting something like that. I mean, everyone's got a powerful shooting one. That's a good one.
Yeah. And it's like, if you need something gone, that's the one to get. And it's 2 CP. Really not that especially I need to point this out too, right? The sisters are so cheap that you're not going to see battalions unless they're in soup. You're going to see brigades.
It's almost like they want to sell the new models.
Yeah, maybe. Like, so if you see monofaction sisters, you're going to see brigades. They're amazing. So it's just like, you're going to have a lot of command points to work with.
Mm-hmm.
One other 1 CP, Purity of Faith. Use this stratagem when an enemy psyker model manifests a psychic power within 24 inches of an Adeptus Sororitas unit from your army. After any Deny the Witch attempt, roll 1d6 on a 4-up. The psychic power is resisted.
So they have that, which is always a good one. So
yes,
they do have a few tricks for stopping psychic powers. Because honestly, a 4-up shutdown is mathematically one of the only ways to shut down like a standard like Thousand Suns like +3 cast warp time. Like you're not going to roll high enough, but on a 4-up, you'll shut it down. So that's really powerful. And I don't know if you were going to cover it, but there is a stratagem called Sacred Rites.
That is actually not one I was going to, I saw.
Because we were talking about psychics. This is one that came up in chat, and I was like, instantly wanted to make sure we talked about it.
I'm looking for it.
There's a bunch of rights ones.
Right? Look at that. Tails, rights, orders.
Wow.
Last rights? Is it last rights?
Is that what you just read?
No, I did not read Last Rights.
What's Last Rights?
The Hospitalier one.
Sacred Rights, is that what they said that was called?
Yeah. There's one apparently where it adds +3.
I do not see that one.
First time really looking at stratagems, guys. Bear with us.
Sacred Rights is the special. It's not the. What am I trying to say? It's not stratagem.
Oh, there you go.
It's it's their prayers.
Fuck is a prayer?
So.
Oh, they have priests, so they can do litanies and shit. Oh, okay.
Ability depending on which sacred rite is active for your army. So there's you roll a d6. You can roll 2d6 to randomly generate two sacred rites.
Or just pick one.
Or select one.
And one of them is add +3 to deny roll.
Yes.
Boom.
Oh, that's way up front here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that's okay. I'm way past
So
that.
I thought that was a stratagem. Sorry.
No, that's an ability that seems pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to anti-psyker, and there's some solid ways to anti-psyker, actually.
Yeah, no, they definitely have anti-psyker stuff. They just don't have any psyker stuff. It's basically like the sacred right stuff is like canticles from what is that? Mechanicus, right?
Oh, word.
It's like that, except that you can't change them.
That's
Well,
pretty.
it's been a while since I played Mechanicum.
So you can, but
change
is
them
that one of
anymore?
those things that you could
You-
depict before the
yeah.
battle?
Yes.
So you see you're going up against Chaos or somebody with a bunch of powers, and you just know like all these clutch ass sisters have +3 to deny roll now.
Yeah, and we can cover those real quick. I'm looking at the table now. Yeah, basically, if you can select one or roll to select two if they're randomly generated, but if you roll a duplicate result, it has no additional effect, so you don't get to re-roll it. You just have to suck it up. But the first is called Hand of the Emperor, and when a unit with this sacred right advances, add 1 to the advance roll. The second is called Spirit of the Martyr. You roll a d6 before removing the model from play. If it's destroyed, and on a 5 up, it can shoot or fight before it gets away, before it dies. So that seems kind of cool.
Interesting. I wish it was a 4 like most people, but that 5 is weak.
Yeah.
Well, you can do it with a vehicle.
Yes. Which could be kind of powerful.
I mean, it's dope. I mean, that would be my default if there's not other things to take, for sure.
Yeah. Then there's the one that they were talking about called Aegis of the Emperor. When a deny the witch test is taken for a unit with this sacred right, add 3 to the total. There is a divine guidance, which is when resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon by a model with the sacred right on an unmodified wound roll of 6, the AP goes up 1. So AP 0 would become AP -1.
Mm-hmm.
The passion, when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model with the sacred right, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 scores 1 additional hit,
Cool.
which is all right. It depends too. Like if you were rocking this, it'd be pretty powerful. But this is where I say like, the arcoflagellants that at first don't look very cool. If you had like this sacred right and then a priest with them, that's 2 additional hits, well, on a 6, right?
Yeah.
Which could get really nasty because
Yeah, but Miracle Dice changed a lot of this random shit.
exactly. It gets really ugly. So in the last one, it's called Light of the Emperor. When a morale test is taken for a unit with the sacred right, you can re-roll the dice.
Oh, which is sick. It's possible arcoflagellants don't get sacred rights.
No, I think they do because they're Adeptus Min Storm.
Well, they have the keyword, but they don't have it listed as
Is it ability?
right.
All right.
They do
Gotta look at all
not.
the keywords.
Oh, they don't. Oh,
Sadness. I mean, on that list though, for me, it's shoot on a 5, deny the witch +3 if I see that, or increase the AP on a 6. Like those are some of my
they'll get
takeaways.
extra attacks if they're near like priests and stuff or missionaries or whatever they
Yeah,
are.
I'm just saying, like as far as the archetypes of armies I play against, I can see 6s turning the AP up, and shooting while dying, and the psychic +3 deny. Those are really good. Those are solid buffs. Okay, sorry for the departure, and we went down this new journey, but we can flip it back to stratagems.
Oh, yeah. So the last 2, actually, I got 3. The last 3 that I have are, and the last one's somewhat controversial for me, not necessarily for everybody else, but, so for 2 CP, you get Judgment of the Faithful. This is use this stratagem after an Adeptus Sororitas unit from your army falls back. That unit can shoot during the shooting phase of this turn and charge in the charge phase of this turn. So they miraculously turn into
1 unit,
Ultramarines.
infantry only, or what is it?
An Adeptus Sororitas unit from your army falls back.
So
So
that's your troop choices, right?
Well, it's Adeptus Sororitas. So let me check.
Is that your keyword? Is that your faction keyword? Is Adeptus Sororitas?
Yes.
So that's everything. Everything can fall back and still shoot.
And yeah, it's not quite everything, but it is a lot.
So I mean, like what I meant by that is like vehicles and infantry.
Yeah. So what's really huge about that, right, is that say you had an exorcist that now got charged. Mm-hmm. It's not out of the game. It's not out of that turn, right? You can fall back. You can use 2 CP and you can light up whatever was charging.
That is unequivocally in the category of really powerful stratagems, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very, very powerful.
Do Penitent Engines have Adeptus Sororitas keyword? They should.
No, they do not. They're in Adeptus Ministorum. Let me check. Hold on.
They don't even have special rules, or they don't even have special abilities.
One of the things I did not like about this is that the Penitent Engines got kind of nerfed a little bit. And they do have only the Adeptus Ministorum unit. Right. However, that's why I was talking about mortifiers being the winners, because you have these new models that you have to assemble. And they're, from what I understand, the mortifiers are built on the Penitent Engine kind of chassis, right? Only instead of heavy flamers, they can use heavy bolters. They can use all this different stuff. They have the Adeptus Sororitas keyword. So they're different than Penitent Engines.
Yeah, no, that's a good find, Haspil. That's a great stratagem.
And what I would do personally, this is what I'm going to do. I have, and I'll get it more into this on the last stratagem, but I have 9 old school Penitent Engines, like 9 big metal solid ones that you could kill a man with if you put it in your sock. So those are going to stay Penitent Engines, and all the new ones I buy will be mortifiers. Because I frankly think the mortifier is better as of right now. Now, granted, I have not played with these, so I haven't seen them on the tabletop. I could be completely wrong. The next stratagem is it's for 2 CP. It's called the Extremis Trigger Word. Use this stratagem in the fight phase when an arcoflagellant unit from your army is chosen to fight with. Until the end of that phase, change the ability of arcoflails models in that unit are equipped with to make 3 hit rolls for each attack made with this weapon.
Holy shit, I got a sweep attack. Nice.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying you get like 90 attacks with arcoflagellants and a priest. It becomes, when you first look at the arcoflagellants, you're like, dude, why would anyone ever take these? They have a 7-up save, literally. So it's like, why take these guys? And it's like, you definitely want to take these if you're going up against hordes, you know? And it's like at the end of that phase,
I mean, if we're taking brigades anyway to do mono, like I'll sneak one of these in.
At the end of that phase, roll 1d6 for each model in that unit, and then for each 6, one model in that unit is destroyed. So it's like they've kind of given.
Why do they give me a fail rate?
Wait, they have a 5-up feel no pain though, don't they?
No, it's destroyed.
They do.
It's a destroyed.
Oh, destroyed.
So they do have a feel no pain.
Is it 1 CP?
It is 2 CP.
Get the fuck out of here. I'm done. That stratagem so dumb. Nope. GW, if you're gonna put a fail rate on a stratagem like that, yeah, you gotta lower the cost by 1.
Yeah.
And what are our arcoflagellants like? Still like no armor and just a feel no pain.
They have no armor. They have
with a feel no pain.
Yeah.
No, that's come on, GW. You should have called me first. I would hit you with that. It's like, look, fail rate's fine. You got to make it a 1 CP stratagem.
Yeah, the arcoflagellants are definitely very situational.
But it says model destroyed. It doesn't say it takes a wound, right?
That model is destroyed.
Destroyed. It doesn't matter. All that. Yeah. See, that's the fail rate. Destruction of a 2 wound model. That's worth 1 CP.
It should be 1 CP, but I thought it would be kind of cool. Again, I think the arcoflagellants jumped out at me just because when I looked at them, I was so dismissive of them. I was just like, screw these guys. Like, I'm glad I sold my.
Right, so this is one of those moments we got to go on a tangent again. How many points are those guys?
Ooh, they're not expensive.
I gotta know because like now we're talking about them. I was like, I gotta weigh everything.
All right, let's look here.
13 points a model.
13 points, including war gear?
Not including war gear.
Okay, fucking get the fuck out of here.
Hold on.
And also, I need squad size. Haspil, what squad size capabilities?
I'm looking for squad size while Rob looks at war gear. Arcoflagellants. Let's see here. It starts with 3. They can go up to 7, so 10.
So 10. Okay.
Arco Flails.
Arco Flares B0. Motherfucker B0. I swear to God. Swear to God.
Zero.
Zero?
Flails are 0.
Oh, my erection is
Yeah,
gone.
they're literally like a throwaway unit.
So
the only thing
130 points. 2 wounds each. What's their feel no pain? Is it a 5?
5 up.
Oh, okay. I'm with it. What's their weapon skill? 2? 3
up.
Okay. I was trying to, since things I say happen, I was hoping that would happen.
Yeah. The only thing that takes away from the way I would use them, and again, I play shooty sisters. I don't play close combat sisters. My instinct is to pair these with a priest, right? With a preacher, or what's the other guy called? What's that?
You're going to get +1 attack from that, and then that +1 becomes +3.
But then, they don't fit in the rhino anymore.
Oh, these guys are rhinos?
Yeah. So I would just be like, put them in a rhino to hide them, right? Until you need them.
Wait, these guys, hold on. Hold on a second. What are they elites? What are they?
They are elites.
What else is elites? Is the priest also elite?
Yeah.
How much? And the priest, was he cheap? Like 40 points or something?
The preacher
60 most.
Let me see here.
Yeah,
the preacher is 30 points.
I would just do 9 and a priest and a rhino.
And a preacher. Yeah.
Yeah. And you said how many points did you say was?
He's 30 points.
Oh, yes. So 147 points for that combo. And you can actually do, and is this thing a bubble? Is this thing a bubble?
6 inch
what is
with the war him ability?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I would do is I would take 2 units. So unlike my brigade, I would take 2 flail units, 1 priest, put them in rhinos, and let them go. And then because his bubble is shared by both.
Yeah.
So that way you have 3 elites unlocked right there as your core.
And you can even take an HQ unit called a missionary, which is a priest.
Priests don't take slots?
No, they don't. But there's a caveat on that too.
Missionaries HQ.
Yeah, missionaries in HQ, but it's a cheap HQ. It's like 38 points. And I apologize if it's cheap to me, but I play Grey Knights, so 38 points.
Follow up question: How many attacks these guys have? Like in their base?
Who, the priests or the
flagellants?
Arco-flagellants? They have 2.
They have 2, 3 with the priest.
3 with the priest.
So,
and then if you pop that strat, it becomes insane.
So that is. So they have 3 each, and that becomes 3 or 1 per an additional. What is it? 3 per 1? Is that what you said?
Yes. So it's times
9
3.
each. So they get 9 each.
So you get 90 attacks.
81 attacks for 9 still.
Yeah, it's still good.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm fucking with it.
I feel like, they're gonna wreck hordes with that. You're not gonna. It's ugly.
Dude, okay, I'm with it. Sorry, that was we had to go on that little journey. Okay, so
no, that's good. That helps.
You have a priest too, by the way.
It's what?
The Arco-flagellants don't take up a spot if you have a priest.
Oh my god!
Okay.
I missed that.
So real quick, does it say they no longer take up a spot if you have a priest, or they don't have to? Because actually,
if your army is Battleforged, this unit does not take a slot in a detachment that includes any Ministorum priests.
that's actually a bad.
Oh my god!
Because I'm trying to unlock a brigade for the CP, and I want them to take up that slot. You see what I'm saying?
Oops. Well, Imaginifier's elite too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the other things I need are cheap elites. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and there's other stuff in there like the Crusaders and stuff that the Hospitaler I would consider taking quite a bit.
The Gemini are elite too.
Yeah,
So, so there's lots of things. Okay, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, if you're running, Celestine.
I mean, obviously, chat, you're right. Like, I know we can put them in different detachments, but like, I'm also thinking of how do I get a Sisters Brigade and a White Scar Centurion Wombo combo? That's already where my head's at. So I'm like, I'm really trying to juggle points in my mind.
How many Centurions?
At least 10.
Oh my goodness.
10 Assault Centurions.
Oh,
Why not?
wow.
I'm trying to work. I have a plan here. Okay. Like,
Yeah.
Of course you do.
And then the last stratagem I'm going to cover. Now, keep in mind, I've covered maybe a third of the stratagems. I haven't covered
There's a lot.
There's a lot. They have a plethora to choose from.
Yeah, we'll do a full write up on them and stuff like that. We don't have to.
Jefe, what is a plethora? Throwback to Three Amigos there, but the last one, which I said was kind of like controversial to me anyway, is for 3 CP. There's one called Desperate for Redemption. And you use this stratagem at the end of the fight phase. Select one Penitent Engines, Mortifiers, or Sisters Repentia unit from your army within 1 inch of enemy units, and that unit from your army can fight as if it were the fight phase. So they get to fight again. And the reason I say that's controversial to me and caused a little bit of a feel badsy is because they used to get that, Penitent Engines used to get that on a 4-up, like by themselves. So I just had to go, to make my Penitent Engines as epic as they were before, because they were straight. You roll with 9. It was devastating. I now have to burn 3 CP, and I can only do that once per assault instead of across the board. So it's a little bit of a drawback. I'm not going to be that butthurt about it. It's like, okay, we got plenty more to celebrate, so not going to lie.
I have a few more questions about points.
Sure.
Seraphon, what other fast attacks do they have besides them?
I think that's it.
Okay, so how many points? What's the squad size? And
no, they
points?
have Dominion squads. Sorry.
Oh, Dominion squads, the ones that can infiltrate or scout or whatever.
The Immolator is also fast attack.
Right. Dominion squads were like 5 girls, and they could take like.
I thought the Immolator was just a transport. Now.
Oh, you're right. Excuse me.
Rob,
Dominion.
Seraphim, you can take up to 10.
Can they take 5 though?
Yeah.
How many points are Seraphon? How many points are Dominions?
Seraphim are 11 points, and Dominions are 10.
And Dominions are 10 points each. So they have access to like heavy weapons, and they scout still. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of heavy weapons do they get?
Meltas. Let me look. I'm just going off memory.
They get all the special weapons.
Yeah,
Multi-meltas?
One. No.
Like
melt a gun.
And a Vanguard move is a thing. Is that just like pre-movement 6 for free, or?
They get to move in their movement phase, but they can't be more than 9 away from enemy models.
Mm-hmm.
Free move. And Seraphon, you said they're 11?
Seraphim? Yeah, you can. They're 11 points each. And their big thing are the Inferno Pistols, which are 6 inches, or Hand Flamers, which are 6 inches. And actually, I didn't talk about that, but there is a stratagem if you're taking Seraphim that extends their flamer or pistol range, basically, is what it is. Let me look for it real quick. It wasn't one of my must takes because I don't always take Seraphim, so I don't have it circled in the old codex. Man.
What were you looking for?
The one that gives them like plus, it adds range to their pistols.
Oh, I don't know what that's called. I haven't read that one.
There's a lot to take in here. Like this is not no White Dwarf Codex.
No, straight up.
This is legit.
Oh, it's Deadly Descent. Until the end of that phase, add 6 to the range of pistol weapons that the models are equipped with, and they can shoot as if it was your shooting phase.
Is that after that's after they reinforce, right? They deep strike.
Unit is set up from the high in the sky, so it'd be end of movement phase.
Yeah. So you deep strike, and then you have that ability when you deep strike.
Yeah. So then you can just hit people at 12.
Yeah, I'm looking at some interesting points here. Like you can get 90 sisters for like 810 points. You can get like you can unlock these Seraphons real cheap for like 165 to fill out your brigade. You can unlock like 3 units of flagellants at 9 man each for like 160 or real cheap. Like you can really get a pretty preposterous brigade with like literally 90 sisters, a bunch of toys, and save point and still have points to spare.
Oh yeah, it's insane. And I should mention that there is a new unit, entirely new unit, called the Seraphim, which are like foot slogging Seraphim. I'm not huge on them because I think they're never going to make it across the table. I think if if I was going to choose between Seraphim, Arcoflagellants, and say Sisters Repentia, I'm going to go with Repentia or Arcoflagellants. I just don't think the Seraphim. I think they're going to die before they get there.
But they have jump packs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, it's pretty crazy. I can't wait to scheme on this in Battlescribe because, like, I feel like there's going to be some potential. Chat's saying they can fly the Seraphim.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, they do. They have fly. They have jump packs, but they're not like Seraphim. They're different unit.
Twitch Villa Idiot, like in the chat, like there's so much going on here. It's like you're going to be able to put a Sisters Brigade down that has like 150 bodies.
Yeah, it's no joke, man.
Like, and it's going to be like tooled up. Like,
It's going to be tooled up. And that's why I was saying, like, if you play Monofaction Sisters, I think they're going to be amazing, right? But
they're
if you
going to
play
have 15, they're going to come with 15 CPs.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a big ass brigade with 15 CPs.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to, of course, you know, everyone already has figured out in the world that there's a relic and a warlord trait to get more miracle points. So like you are generating between 3 and 4 miracle dice a turn. Pretty much everyone in the world has figured that out. You're just going to figure out which order suits you best. I'm thinking with this kind of bodies, if you're going to go this route, you're going to do the, I don't give a fuck about AP order.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be able to figure out what the best prayer thing is, you know, and that could be with this kind of mass fire, that could be extra AP on 6s, I'm thinking, for your bolters. Like, and you're going to wade through some shit.
And I said something incorrect before when I said the Imagifier was an upgrade for a squad. It is not.
It's a person with a bubble.
That's the standard.
It is a person with a bubble. It's like it's like the chapter ancient.
Yeah. How many points? 45?
45.
She's an elite?
She is.
Very good. Very good.
So you definitely, that's basically why I was like, you definitely want them because she adds 1 to strength characteristics of models within their unit, all that stuff. You know what I mean?
She's basically a chaplain.
Okay, when she adds 1 to the strength characteristic, what is it keyed to?
Of the order, of the same order. But that's tied to the tails, right? So it's like basically when you get an Imagifier, you get something called a Litany of Deeds, right? And you select one of the following tails. So there's Tale of the Faithful, where you can reroll Deny the Witch test taken for a model order whilst their unit is within 6 inches of friendly models with this ability. So, you know, a 6-inch bubble of the Imagifier, it's like, I don't think that one's that good. Tale of the Stoic, weapons with an armor penetration characteristic of -1 are treated as having an armor penetration characteristic of 0 when resolving attacks.
Made by units within 6?
No. While you're within 6 of the Imagifier.
Okay.
So she's projecting a 6-inch bubble.
Okay, my question is, her bubble is friendly units within 6.
Correct.
Order, friendly order.
Okay.
Yes.
So it doesn't work for Arcoflagellants.
Got it. Yeah. I got it. I'm just trying to get the wording right.
And then the last one is called Tale of the Warrior, where you add 1 to the strength characteristic of models whilst their unit is within 6. So the one I would always pick would be, I would pick Order of the Valorous Heart and then Tale of the Stoic.
I would take, I'm taking 2 Imagifiers.
Yeah, and then you ignore -2.
They're 45 point elite unlocks for my brigade. And I'm going to take 1 of strength buff, 1 of I don't care about negatives buff, because when my 90 sisters eventually do get into close combat, I want them being strength 4.
Well, you can't take them both. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying take 2 Imagifiers. Yeah.
They're 45 point elite unlocks for my brigade. Like, if I have a horde of sisters, my fucking horde strength 4, son.
Yeah, that's truth. Truth right there.
Like, all day, every day.
And keep in mind, they're still in power armor. These are 90 bodies in power armor.
Like, what I'm seeing is going to happen is I'm going to end up taking a brigade with 3 HQs that have this combination of warlords and relics that I need for more miracle points. I'm going to have 90 sisters. I'm going to have, which is 6 squads is a 15. I'm going to have 3 of these girls, 3 5-point Seraphim units, and whatever I can get away with the heavies. I'm going to then try to squirrel in any other bonus. If I get the flagellants in there, I do. But at the end of the day, I'm going to come across the table, full control mode, taking 3-up saves against raw dog AP2 weapons, and it's going to be hard to interact with.
Yeah.
But
and speaking of that, we can jump into the warlord trait. Sorry, Rob, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just going to say that just keep in mind that 25 models is $210 from the army box. So,
but some of us with metal sisters are laughing all the way to the bank. But yeah, so here's the warlord traits. 4 of them are, I don't think, all that great. 2 of them are auto take, and I'll let you figure out which ones are that. So the first one is inspiring order. Add 1 to the warlord's leadership characteristic. Friendly order units can use this warlord's leadership characteristic. Yep.
Everyone gets one of those. Everyone gets a garbage one.
Yeah. Kenny has guessed the first one correctly. Second, righteous rage. When making a charge roll for this warlord, you can reroll any or all of the dice when resolving an attack made by a melee weapon by this warlord in a turn in which it charged or was charged. Perform or heroic intervention, you can reroll the wound roll.
If that was a fucking Space Marine Smash Captain, amazing.
Amazing. For sisters, you get miracle dice. Don't care. Executioner of heretics. Subtract 1 for the leadership characteristic of enemy units while they are within 6.
Everyone gets one of those. They suck.
Number 4, beacon of faith. At the start of your turn, if this warlord is on the battlefield, gain 1 miracle dice.
Oh, that one's terrible. Move on. It's the worst.
Don't take that.
Don't take the one that gives you a free miracle dice.
Indomitable relief. Indomitable belief. I can't read even with my glasses.
Indomitable relief. Nice.
I think it's release.
Indomitable belief. The invulnerable save friendly order infantry models receive from the Shield of Faith ability is improved by 1 to a maximum of 4 up, whilst their unit is within 6 of this warlord.
So I'm gonna
keep in mind. Judith Erutia exists.
Mm-hmm.
So you stack them, right? And you get 4 up invul saves on all your sisters within 6 of your warlord.
Wait,
and
she has her own, but she's order keyed, right?
She's ordered to Valorous Heart.
She's ordered to a different order, but that ability
Martyr
is
Lady.
Not.
But here's the thing, it's redundant. I'm already taking the order of the AP2 doesn't matter.
Right.
5 of invulnerable is perfectly fine because you have to be AP3 to start making.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to take, so I like the 5 invulnerable bubble. Is it shooting or all time? Or their active faith bubble, is it just straight up raw dog?
Yeah, it's just all the time.
So
6 up.
So that's invaluable to my horde to have that. So I would have that too.
Mm-hmm.
But the Judith Erotia model is only ordo locked for when she's re-rolling hits of 1. The other ability where she's buffing an invul save up to 4 up is just an Adeptus Sororitas infantry. So 4 up. If you take them both. And if you have Order of the Valorous Heart, it's those girls are not going anywhere.
Mm-mm.
So, and then the last one is called Pure of Will. This warlord can attempt to deny 1 additional psychic power in your opponent's psychic phase. I'm like, no, whatever. And there are a couple of other order-specific warlord traits, but none of them I felt was as good as Beacon of Faith or Indomitable Belief.
This list is powerful.
Yeah,
Sisters Brigade is going to be hard to dislodge.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then we're running really long right now, so I'm not going to go through all the relics. I'll just talk about my 2 favorites. Litanies of Faith. Once per turn, if a model from your army with this relic is on the battlefield, you gain a miracle dice. So there's your 3 right there. You got a warlord trait, a relic, and your auto miracle dice. You get 3 a turn without doing anything. You just got to be on the board.
So I'm going to spend 1 CP to get the extra warlord trait. I'm going to have the warlord trait that generates. Going to have the relic that generates.
Mm-hmm.
Out the gate.
Yeah.
Nasty.
So that's that's pretty crazy. And then the other one that I really liked was Book of St. Lucius, right? Add 3 inches to the range of all aura abilities of the model with this relic. So I'm just kind of like, yeah.
I'm gonna definitely need that on one of my characters. I have to decide. So I'm gonna take a relic, and then I'm gonna buy that. Then I'm gonna reserve to buy that relic pregame.
Correct.
Based on my opponent, if I need to buff the invulnerable bubble, or I need to buff the 6-inch, the 6-inch AP reduction. So I'm just all I gotta do is look at your opponent, see what kind of plethora of AP he has. Typically, make that choice. If I'm gonna spend that CP to get that relic, I do have 15 CP.
Fallen.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful. And then you might still have points left over for a night or something insane.
So what is Litanies of Faith? Is that what you just read?
Yeah, you get hold on. I just closed the codex. My bad. It was you extend it by 3 inches aura abilities of whoever has that relic. Yeah, add 3 inches to the range of aura abilities of a model with that relic.
Damn. Yeah, those are good. Okay,
Wait, somebody's saying that's not how Litanies of Faith works. Page 108.
Is that not what we just read?
It's on 109, and I'm reading it. Add 3 inches to the range of aura abilities of a model with this relic. So,
yeah.
That's Book of St. Lucius. My bad. Litanies of Faith. Once per turn, if a model from your army with this relic is on the battlefield, you gain a miracle dice, and you can re-roll that dice when you gain it. I feel like that's really good.
Yeah. Seems good. We're bad. Just set them backwards. Yeah, my bad. We set them backwards. So many names.
I got the names confused.
There's so many litanies and of faiths. And
so many names. So, guys, one more time. Get your Night Lord fucking battalions ready to go with your Vox Screams. You're going to need them to fight these sisters.
Yeah, you are.
Because 2 CP Vox Scream, 18 inches, I can point at a model and say, you don't have auras. So you're going to need that for your Night Lords to fight this shit.
Yeah. I'm excited for them. I'm really pumped. It's time to dust them off. And oh wait, he's saying when I gain a miracle dice. Okay, maybe I'm rereading it wrong. Let me reread it again.
Oh, when? So when you get one? So I thought they were both different wording, because this makes them both the same wording. The relic and the warlord trait. There has to be
I see what he's saying. Yeah. He's right, actually. So I thought you were getting an additional miracle dice with this relic, but that's not what happens. It's if this model on your army with this relic is on the battlefield, when you gain a miracle dice. I was getting too hyped. So when you gain a miracle dice, you can re-roll that dice. I would still take this relic.
It's just different. I'm still taking it. So you're generating 3 and I still take it.
Thanks a lot, James. Because I was believing the hype a little too much.
Yeah.
So I thought you could get 3 automatically, but it looks like you only get 2 automatically.
Well, you're going to kill something every turn. You're going to get 1. You're going to generate 1, and you're going to get 1 from the warlord trait, and you're going to be able to reroll 1 that you generated with this.
Yeah, and then if you roll like a 2 or a 3, you get to reroll that die.
Yeah, super good. I'm gonna reroll 1, 2, and 3 always, all day, every day. I don't give a fuck.
Well,
about
maybe
3s.
Not 1. You might want to keep some.
I don't care about morale check. I got 90 girls. The only dice I care about are straight up damage dice and save and passing invulnerable dice.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't even want 3s.
But I'm super hyped for these. the new, and then on top of that, they released the, you know, what the new Exorcists and new Immolators look like, and they're sick.
Very cool.
These are really powerful. Dan, they're way stronger than I thought they were going to be. This is crazy. But we've run over time. We did as much as we could, covered as much sisters. I'm sure we're going to have articles all fucking week. I'm going to be talking about tactics. I'm going to be doing lists and battle scribe. It is a hype ass fucking 2019.
It is.
Yeah. So Rob, you want to take us to the take us out?
Haspil, take us out of here.
Surely you don't disbelieve the prophecies because you helped bring them about. You don't really suppose, do you, that all your adventures and escapes were managed by mere luck just for your sole benefit?